Good morning, Malta and Gozo, and welcome to Lovin Daily. I'm Julian Bonici, joined by no one else today, with the rest of the newsroom out following a press conference on FATF and actually a really interesting Melvin Toma testimony in the HSBC case against Vince Muscat. We'll be hearing about that all throughout the day. Now on to our three headlines for today. The first story is all about how a surfer saved swimmers in Rambla Bay caught in really difficult conditions amid concerns over issues over untrained lifeguards. Our second story is all about a vegan cafe shop closing down due to a drop of tourists amid the COVID-19 pandemic. And the last story is all about how Gozo's Ggantia Temples is under threat once again by a new development. Before we get going, don't forget to submit to Lovin Digest. That's our daily newsletter, giving you an entire rundown of all the content we've written that day. It's really easy to sign up. It's on our website. Please go and check it out. So on to our first story. A surfer was forced to intervene and save swimmers caught in dangerous conditions at Rambla Bay. This came just days after the Red Cross confirmed with Lovin Malta that they're almost putting anyone in the position and raising concerns over whether people on duty have the necessary skills and experience to actually oversee, what is actually such a crucial job. Liam Spiteri wrote on Facebook, detailing how he first arrived at Rambla Bay and was actually quite shocked, to see quite a large number of people swimming despite the double red flag conditions. Now, typically at a bay, a lifeguard would warn you not to swim in those conditions. They're super treacherous, especially with the way Malta's currents are. So Liam Spiteri eventually was there and sort of first noticed one woman in quite a lot of trouble. Eventually he went to go save her and then found out that two members of her family also needed assistance. Now, it didn't stop there. Eventually, Spiteri also saved an 11-year-old girl, an 8-year-old girl, and a 6-year-old girl, all from swimming in the really dangerous conditions, detailing some quite at least harrowing comments, from the young girls who really thought their life was over. For Spiteri, what really shocked him as well was sort of seeing the lifeguard in action. So first he started noticing the lifeguard swimming against the rip current, which is an absolute no-no in swimming in such tough conditions. And then after, once all the commotion had died down and everybody was saved, he actually got speaking to the lifeguard, who admitted he had actually no formal training. There was a surfboard that is used to help people in the lifeguarding, but he has no idea how to use it. Liam Spiteri made it clear that the fault does not lie with the lifeguard themselves, resting blame entirely on the authorities, who are allowing untrained lifeguards to be on duty. Today we could have been speaking about such a serious tragedy in Rambla Bay with loads of lives lost. Are we only going to take action once something like that happens? I think it's really important, the government steps in, helps the Red Cross as well, to get the necessary funds, to get the right people on duty, to make sure lives are saved. Every summer we hear of how many people drowning on our shores. On to our next story, Choco Kebab Cafe in Bujibba, one of Malta's favorite vegan places, known for insane dishes like vegan pastizzi and a plant-based Maltese sausage, is closing its doors, amid, serious issues in the COVID-19 pandemic and the effect it's having on our economy. So Jared Lewis, who is the owner of the cafe, spoke to Lovin Malta and sort of detailed how, a drop in tourists, particularly vegan tourists, has really hit his business. Simply saying, he cannot rely just on locals to keep his business afloat. Now, an interesting tidbit he mentioned to Lovin Malta was that, since most of his clientele are vegan, he said, a lot of them tend to be unvaccinated, so the current restrictions have had just like a complete devastating effect on his business in what was meant to be, a really crucial summer following last year's disappointment. I guess it's just another reminder, that while maybe some bigger businesses can stay afloat during continued restrictions, for smaller businesses it's really a daily challenge just to open up the next day, hoping to see some money through those doors. Now Lewis sort of said he's hoping someone will take over, and he's even looking to share his recipes, which is a positive news, but I guess quite a sad story in Malta's, current COVID-19 climate. In other news on the COVID-19 front, a walk-in clinic to get your vaccination jab was opened yesterday in Mostards, the first of its kind, and actually saw a really strong turnout. About 2,460 people got vaccinated yesterday, continuing the country's quite impressive inoculation campaign, with now about 80% of the adult population fully vaccinated against the virus. Now, all of this news is coming amid another surge of COVID cases. Yesterday, 146 new cases were confirmed, with 15 recoveries, putting Malta's active cases up to 1,963. Could push over to 2,000 mark. We'll see. On a positive front, at least the number of hospitalizations has remained stable at 18 and doesn't continue to grow. We'll see, obviously, whether all of these figures change at 12:30 today. On to our last story, Gozo's Ggantia Temples, a gem for the country. It's one of the oldest structures in the world, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site is facing yet another threat after yet another planning application was submitted in its boundaries. Carmela Todd and architect Alex Begeni submitted plans to convert a house into a 3-story apartment block with pool included, obviously. Now, the Shara Local Council has naturally objected to the plans, highlighting the archaeological importance on the area and how this development will create such a dangerous precedent for the area that will have effect not only on the town of Shara, but obviously on, one of Malta's, pride and joys, the Ggantia Temples. This isn't the first application in the area. Earlier this year, plans were submitted to put a 5-story apartment block totally dominating the landscape in the area. It even made international news, hitting the BBC with so many, obviously criticizing a development in a really archaeological and historically sensitive area. When you start seeing continued developments like this and contractors willing to, put Malta's heritage under threat, it's no wonder people changed Ian Borges' Wikipedia page over the last few days. You can also check that out on his page. That's it from us for today. Thanks for joining, and have a day full of love.